Hey, welcome back to another episode of Venture Prince, a YouTube series where I, Eric Fady, dive back into some photos I've taken throughout the years that I thought were pretty cool to give a little more context to them, a behind the scenes look at some of these images. I've been into photography mostly my whole life since high school, for sure. I probably was into photos before that, but into photography in a serious way since high school. Took some classes in high school about it, some classes at Oakland Community College, learning how to use dark rooms and develop my own photos. And something I wanted to do for 2026, a goal I had was to twice a week do a little YouTube video that corresponds with a Instagram post of this photo I'm talking about in the YouTube episode. So, which is my Instagram is eventurecast, and this is eventure prince. So let's get at it. That might be one of my best intros I've done so far. I'm finally a month in and I'm getting better, I guess. So this is real quick. Here's the photo that we're going to be talking about. And I took this, and if you've watched any of the previous episodes here, I'm kind of going in chronological order in a way. I do 2 episodes a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 PM, and on the Tuesday ones so far, I've been going through my trip that I took out to visit my brother in Montana in the summer of 2020, and for now, the ones that are, on the Thursday episodes have been focused more on my trip around the country when me and a few buddies got in a van and drove around America trying to perform comedy in all 50 states. Eventually, they'll kind of clash, and there'll be some ones from home, of course, and some other photos. But for now, those are what the episodes are mostly uh, about. So here we are. This photo was taken on Friday, July 3rd of 2020 at 2:46 p.m. on East I-80 in Wyoming, and I was on the way. I had been at Yellowstone National Park, and I was driving to Devil's Tower on my way home, and that's where this was taken. And to give that a little more context, here's the screenshot that I like to do. And as I always kind of point out, these purplish dots are where other photos have taken. So I've definitely been around a few trips out this way, but we're kind of almost maybe not right in the middle of Wyoming, but kind of close to it there. And you can see where the photo is taken as we zoom in a little closer. It's very close to looks like Buffalo, Wyoming on the I-80, as I said. And at this point, when I was taking when I was on this drive, I had such a good time on the trip, but I was so terrified of driving on mountains at that. And I was like tired and I was by myself. And I had a few moments where I almost lost it. I just was like so done with driving mountains, which I would eventually get over quite well. And then when I traveled around the country in 2022, really wasn't an issue at all. But it was an issue on this trip for me. I will say that. So as we move over a little bit there, now you see some more context. If you look over up on the right of this screen, where there's some dots, I believe that is where Devil's Tower was, that I would eventually go to that day, which was very cool. Highly recommend it. It was kind of funny. We go there in the summer. They play this movie. If anyone's ever seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind, it's an alien movie from I guess the 80s, but some of it takes place with Devil's Tower as the backdrop. So you can sit there and they play it on this big screen and you watch. And I sat there and got some beer and some food and just sat there and watched third Close Encounters of the Kind. So there we go, a little south of Buffalo, Wyoming. I also took a picture down here. So this wasn't the only picture I took. And I move it up a little bit, again, a little south. I guess I said I-80, but it looks like I-90 to me. I don't know why I said I-80. My phone says it's on I-80. Yeah, so that was a miscue. It was I-90, even though it said I-80 on the thing. So as we zoom in a little closer, and it's just I'll say why I kind of like this photo in a little bit here, because right by the Saddles and Trees company, shout out to Saddles and Trees. Hope they're still around. And so yeah, there you go. That's a little more of a context also of where it was taken. So let me back out of there and then back into the photo. And I really enjoy this photo for a lot of reasons. One thing I found out, and Wyoming isn't part of Montana, but when I talk about like big sky country in in Montana. You just realize when you get out there that, yeah, the sky is just massive. It just because it's just flat forever and you can just see it feels like forever too. And so I like that, I like a lot of road pics. If you know, I'm only a month into this, YouTube series here, and if you've watched any previous episodes, you already know that I like road pics. I like that the white lines kinda going off into the distance. There's a fence post here on the left side. One thing I really enjoyed about driving out west, and I wanna do it again sometime soon, is just the vastness and the emptiness of it. I really enjoyed, at times, just stopping and in the middle of the day and standing out there and listening to the emptiness and maybe a car go by once in a while because it's not super busy. So that was fun. So this photo, there is a car actually, if you look in the foreground there, I guess there is someone on the westbound road. I was heading east, back home. And so, yeah, empty road. I have a few pictures of this that I didn't use for the picture because there was more cars. I like it when it's empty and the road's empty. You got the clouds. What a great sky. This little hill here. And I think this is when I was starting to get a little more flat, from the mountains because I was starting to feel a little better about the drive. And so, yeah, this is I-80. I love highway shots. I just love the open road and I love taking pictures of it. So this is another reason I really enjoyed this photo. So one more time, I took this photo. Here, I'll back into this. I took this photo Friday, July 3rd, 2020 at 216 east on I-90, not I-80 in Wyoming, on the way to Devil's Tower. And a little more context of where it was. For anyone that's interested, thanks for watching, by the way. People have started to got a few more subscribers this week, so that's nice. Super enjoy it. All these images I show will be also on my Instagram, eVentureCast. They are also all for purchase, um, through, through that. I do a free podcast as well, and although I have a Patreon page, I have done seasons of free episodes called the eVentureCast on Spotify and iTunes, where I talk about traveling around the country, doing comedy in all 50 states. Also, the last few summers, I've worked and lived on a tourist island in northern Michigan called Mackinac Island, which is famous for not having any cars, just horses and bikes and a lot of fudge. And I have hundreds of videos of me working with horses and what it's like to live on that island in northern Michigan as well. So that ought to do it for this episode of Venture Prince. I hope the people that are watching are enjoying it. And if you are, please I'd super appreciate if you could share it, let other people know about it. And I would love to start getting some comments on what people think of the photos or even dropping your own photos in the comments of photos you've taken that you enjoy. So that'll do it for this episode of Venture Prince. Thanks so much for joining us. See you.